I'd like to introduce our first speaker today, longtime Toastmaster Chad Austin. Sometimes life throws us curveballs, and we are forced to throw our game plans out the window. According to Alex Gordon of the Royals, while a curveball is intimidating, with a little discipline, it can be easy to hit. Please welcome Chad Austin with his speech, How to Become a Donut Slayer. Chad Austin.
When I was a kid, I learned a lesson at a wrestling camp that I now refer to as the one thing rule. When you go to a wrestling camp, you learn a crash course of information about wrestling in a really short period of time. At my first wrestling camp I went to when I was a kid, my instructor told me that if you walk away from this with this one thing that makes you a better wrestler, this whole weekend was worth it. And when he said that, it really hit home to me, and I've always remembered it. And so now, 20 years later, a little more than 20 years later, I still use this now. Every seminar I go to, every convention I go to, I'm always thinking, if I just pick up one thing from this that makes me a better trainer, better leader, better speaker, it's all worth it. I learned the one thing rule from my college wrestling coach, Coach Jody Thompson. Jody is in the Kansas Wrestling Coaches Hall of Fame. I was lucky enough to have him as my coach at Labette County Community College. And one of the first lessons I remember learning from Coach Thompson was when I was a freshman at Labette. It was in our first team meeting together. And it was a lesson about dragons. And so this is the handbook that I got in that first meeting that he gave to me. So I just want to take a second to read to you how he describes dragons. The national stats say that 9 out of 10 college freshmen that go out for the sport of wrestling will quit before their senior year. What happened to them? Did they die? Did they move to China? Well, we both know better than that. So what does happen to them? To better understand this, you must suffer through another story from Coach Thompson's book of analogies. For most freshmen, going off to wrestle in college is much like falling in love. Sometimes love simply isn't enough. You need more than love to make a marriage work. The real world is a rough place. There are millions of things that can and will go wrong. These things will take heavy bites out of that love until there's nothing left, or it's just so weak that it won't stand up anymore. Two young people in love will simply ignore your warnings about this. In fact, it may make them get married even quicker. Their intentions are good, they simply don't have the background or experience to know any better. And since 3 out of every 4 marriages fail, it should show that only a few survive, or maybe only the strong survive. That same theory goes for the tenderfoot wrestler. He is a rookie. Most times neither he nor his parents know what to expect. But what Coach Thompson was saying is that even though all of us in that room were passionate about wrestling, we had the best intentions, that by itself may not be enough for us to make it. And he went on to talk about all the dragons we were going to face as college freshmen. And he always talked about these obstacles as dragons. And dragons, with some proper guidance, they can be easily avoided. You guys have heard me talk about obstacles a lot in speeches up here. Obstacles that we use as excuses to put fitness off till later. The excuses that many of you may be familiar with, that I'm too busy, I don't have time. My kids have activities going on every other night of the week. I have to travel all the time for work. These obstacles. These obstacles I've learned are really easy to overcome. And the reason they are is because we see them coming from a mile away. Our track record tells us they're coming. And so it's easy to come up with a game plan of how we can overcome them. The hard obstacles to overcome are the ones that we don't see coming. The unexpected stuff that comes up. Life throws us curveballs sometimes and makes us throw the game plan out the window. These curveballs in the fitness world, I like to refer to as the donuts. I call them the donuts because to me, donuts have the power to be the best and at the same time the worst inventions created on this earth. They could be my favorite cheat meal that I've waited weeks for, or they could be the spiral down out of control of my meal plan. Some of my best workouts have been when I've had to throw the game plan out the window and just work with what I have around me. Sometimes change can be good. It's just up to us on how we respond to it. So when I was 18, Coach Thompson taught me and my teammates how to be dragon slayers. This morning, I'm going to teach you how to be a donut slayer. The first rule of becoming a donut slayer is very simple. You have to adapt a no matter what mentality. I'm going to get my workout in, no matter what. I'm going to stick to my meal plan, no matter what. Where there's a will, there's always a way. Whenever the unexpected comes up, keep in mind that you have at your disposal the most powerful tool needed to overcome any dilemma, and that's your own brain. Our mind is always more powerful than our problems. We just don't always decide to use it. So these are just a few of the donuts that I've seen my clients face over the years. And the first one is the gotta leave town donut. So your boss comes into your office on Monday morning and he brings the news to you that tomorrow he's sending you to Seattle because there's fires in Seattle he needs you to put out at that office. And so when you leave town for work, normally you know in enough advance you can schedule your workouts around when you're going out of town. You learn at the last minute, you have no choice. If you're going to get your workouts in, you got to do it there. You might get lucky when you get there, there'll be a gym close by you can go to. The hotel is definitely going to have a fitness center. If it doesn't, there's at least a set of stairs there. I have my clients pack a resistance band, their suitcase, and show them workouts to do. We don't need any equipment at all to do bodyweight exercises. One of Chad Austin Fitness Prize clients, Brad Plum over here, he just recently went on a trip, and for a convention he told me I think the fitness center was on floor 8, so he'd climb all the way down, all the way up, and then work out at the fitness center. Climb to the top, climb back down, work out at the fitness center. And so he just kind of made his own workout with what he had available, and he was able to get a good workout in. Another example of a donut that I like to call the sick kid donut. So you get a phone call while you're at work from your kid's teacher, and you find out that your child has decided to spend all morning throwing up on all the other kids. So now you're not going to be able to go to the gym after work. Now you have to go pick up your kid and nurse him back to health. Normally when something like this happens, the last thing on our mind is our workout. But there's no reason we can't still get our workout in. The only difference is now we can't do the workout at the gym. You have to do the workout at home. And if your kid's really sick, even if your kid's really sick, you can still do it. You just may have to break your workout into chunks of 10 to 15 minutes at a time. But you can still get it done. In front of you, I only had time to go over a few examples because we're short on time. But this is my top 5 donuts you can go through later. The bad weather donut, the I forgot donut, eating out donut. These are all donuts you can go through. And this is homework assignment for you to do over the weekend. Take some time and think about what unexpected curveballs came up. What donuts did you have to face in October? Did you get your workout in? Did you keep your no matter what mentality? Or did the donut win? How can you do better next time? And always remember, whenever the unexpected comes up, you have at your disposal the only tool you need to overcome any dilemma, and that's your own brain. Thanks.